in this field. Usually you look inside the instrument, it's a man's name. And it's almost a given, really, that customers expect that the man made the instrument. So, and when one became available, made by a woman, I was always like, yes, there's something special, something that will be appreciated for that reason. And so this event just brings that to light and is designed to highlight the participation, which is extensive worldwide in violin making. And we have Daniela Bordano from Meltina, Italy, Sofia Vittori from Florence, Itzel Avila from Mexico by way of Canada, and Stephanie Voss from Georgia, a little bit further south of us here. And but as far as the organization is concerned, can you speak about the development of that and the significance of the organization?
Yeah, so we are very, very happy to be here today. And this exhibit, it's an exhibit that will take place in 3 different shops. So it started in Atlanta at the Brobst Violin, and now it's in Alexandria, close to the DC area, at Brobst Violin Shop, and then will be in Vermont at Vermont Violin. So Anna Hatmakers, she has this idea since many, many years to put together something with to enchanting like a woman did. And it happened that 1.5 years ago, a Facebook group started with Jamie and Jennifer Critic that they put together so all violin makers and luthiers from all over the world together. And since we have this really good group because we are sharing and supporting each other, so then the idea of making it real after the pandemic, it became true. So we are so happy that you are all here and we are participating, and so that we can show our work to everybody. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
To you and all your family, and Sharon, that she's also one of the women luthiers.
So I'll start with a kind of a general question, but how did you find yourselves as luthiers?
All right, the hot seat. My father was a musician. My family, coming from a family of musicians, and as children we always had to play an instrument, didn't matter which one. So I went through a long litany of instruments, trying to find the one that requires the least amount of practice. And eventually landed on the violin. But also my father worked for Steinberg Sons, the piano makers, and they had a music house in Hamburg, Germany, which he was the department head of. So he was in charge of musical instruments, anything else. They were not pianos. And he had a violin maker employed, and I started working there during my high school years. And really appreciated that work, and then I applied for violin making school in Wittenberg, and I was very lucky that I had opportunity to do the test, the 2-day test that they do, and I was very lucky again that I apparently tested it well enough to get in. So. But yeah, that's how I got started, and I have not stopped ever since. I went on after graduating from Wittenberg with the journeyman exam. I went on to work in 2 different shops in Munich. Then I did my master diploma, and after that I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and worked for the company there first before I started my own company.
So I should have said, I said you're from Georgia, but you're originally from
Germany.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
I'm a general handler.
And yourself?
Hello, my name is Estelle Avila. I live in Toronto, Canada. But I'm Mexican. I was born there. And I discovered I started playing violin when I was a teenager, and I couldn't afford a violin, contemporary violin, and either. So I just asked the violin maker in town, Ricardo Perez and Silvi, I know that just asked, could I make my own violin? And they just answered me yes. And, and it was just a lucky time, because I discovered thanks to them the violin making, and I tried to make both for 10 years. All my scholarship is in violin performance, and then I moved to Montreal, and I continued with violin making, and at some point I said, the day has 24 hours, I have gifts, there is life, so the world, you have to pick one thing. And so I decided to concentrate my time and energies in violin making. I worked for a couple of shops in Montreal, for women and ladies from Toronto, and since many years ago I'm independent, and I was very lucky also to have an amazing mentor, Francis Gutner, and also Mr. Lashley in Montreal, and I live in Toronto.
So for me, it's how I couldn't. So all my family are violin makers since 1935. So my grandfather started, and then my father, my uncle, my brothers. And with my father, we always were traveling around the world for exhibits. And it's also when I met David and his family for the first time in Gerald. We were in New York at the Musica New York. And I think the match happened between our two families because we have a similar history tradition. So also your grandfather started, and your father and your sister. So this way, I feel that like with violin making, we really can make amazing friendship. And I know if I travel the world, in every town I go, I can find somebody that is like a friend for me. So this is beautiful. And now I live in the United States because I married a violin maker. And I opened also my own company, and so it's another life that I'm going on. So thank you for hosting us.
And me, I'm Daniela, and well, I was a professional violinist and viola player, and also Baroque viola player, and well, they closed the orchestra in which I was playing. Because this is how things were going in Italy, and the European Union were giving money to open youth orchestras, but it was more easy for the politicians to close the orchestra that were already there and transform them in youth orchestras. So when I was working, they quitted all the people over 32, and at the same time I moved in another region, and so I didn't have many contacts there. I didn't really know what to do, and violin making came out because working with my hands was something that always fascinated me, but I really wanted to learn how to repair bows. And so I tried to repair bows, and even because I discovered that in my region there was nobody who was able to repair bows, and I didn't want to ship my expensive bows somewhere else all the time with the anxiety of the shipping. And so I tried, but I couldn't understand how to make the plugs. They are so tiny, and I never had a chisel in my hand, and I didn't know anything about wood grains, and there was